there, guys. It's Gavin here. And if this is working correctly, it hasn't been lately, Matt should be on my left-hand side. This is Matt Vasquez. And he's been with us for, how long have you been with us for now, Matt? 6 weeks, 7 weeks?
I joined on, it was the last week of March, the last 2 weeks of, or actually no, May. I started in May, but I really didn't get going. I would probably say till the first week of June.
First week of June.
Yeah, that's when I really kind of started, moving forward with everything after everything was set up. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what I wanted to touch on first, Matt, if I may, is just, what you were doing before you came in. Like, what kind of happened for you to end up joining us? Talk us through that kind of that time.
Yeah. So basically, what I was doing before was in the area of video production, and that's like my passion in filmmaking and doing that kind of stuff. Last year, I started getting into like internet marketing because I wanted to be able to be more selective in some of the projects that I work on. I'm passionate about doing, documentary and that kind of stuff, but those kind of opportunities don't always come up. So I thought, I'm going to get into internet marketing, make some extra money so I can kind of be more selective in some of the work that I do. And then one of the things that happened is, I started trying different things, didn't have a whole lot of success. Like I hear a lot of people that get into internet marketing had a little bit of success with Facebook ads, but I wasn't really good at, closing customers. I got close, but I guess sales is not really my thing. So when COVID-19 hit, things for video industry, they weren't coming through for me. I had companies that owed me money, and things changed really quickly. So I had got into business loans, and I honestly didn't really feel, I didn't do any deals, but I honestly didn't feel like it was for me, because I started to think, if this was like me, I would never take this kind of deal, because I didn't look at it as being the best case scenario for somebody, Were
you doing MCAs at that point, if I may just interrupt you?
MCA, yeah, some credit lines, but I just didn't really feel like, if it's not something I would ever want to buy, why would I sell it to somebody else? So I didn't do that very long at all, And then just through looking how to get leads in that business, I actually, ran into your YouTube channel, and I started watching some of the testimonials and the results that other people had. So after that, I signed up and just got going, so here I am now.
Here you are now. Why was it a slow start for you? Because I know you kind of joined and we didn't hear from you too much, and then all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah. So basically, the first 2 weeks, I was just kind of getting things set up. So I had tried different email, like not email clients, but basically mass email software applications. And I was just having a hard time finding one that I wanted to use. So I was testing out different ones. Sometimes I can be a little bit more analytical. So I think that's kind of what the holdup was. But once I found the software that worked for me, then, I think I was just trying to make it too perfect at first. So I wasn't taking all the action that I needed to. But once I got that going and kind of got my workflow down, then after that, I was, doing all the email mining and doing all that stuff, being real consistent with it, and, started going from there.
You actually made a really good point there. I just want to address it. Is imperfect action is actually the way to get success, is the way to get results. And you were sort of saying there that if I'm kind of paraphrasing what you were saying, it's almost like you were trying to be perfect. You were trying to get everything right before you kind of really went out there. And in doing so, you didn't get anything done. And it was only until you kind of finally just thought, right, let's go for it, that things started to really come together.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's really, that can go with any program that you do. So you can buy all these different programs, but unless you remove those obstacles in your mind, like, everybody has to start somewhere. So even if you have to start small, then start small, but you have to start. And unless you start something, you'll never finish anything. So I was like, you know what, it's not perfect. I can't worry about, what happens if this doesn't work out or whatever. I just got to do it. So I started doing it. And, the leads just started coming in from there, so.
What were you mentioned there that you had the obstacles in your mind. What were they, just out of interest? What was sort of preventing that forward momentum?
Um, I overcomplicated things. I was trying to use this software where everything was automated. I was trying to do so much automation where I was like, okay, and it even sounds too complicated to explain it, but basically I was trying to set everything so automated to the point where it was just holding me up because I was testing every day. And I was like, well, if a lead contacts me, I don't want them to be in my sequence. I need to remove them so they don't keep getting contacted, because the way the email sequence is written out. So I was trying to figure out a way to tag them automatically. And I just overcomplicated the process, and just instead of keeping it simple, because I had all these what ifs in my mind. Well, if this doesn't work out, or if this happens, how do I do this? So I just had to do away with that and, like, just start contacting people and just, let things happen, just let it happen the way it's supposed to happen, so. But yeah, I overcomplicated the process in the beginning.
I'm really glad you said that with the what ifs as well and the overcomplication, because and you can speak to this with the training that we've got. I think it's fair to say it's simple. It's very much stripped back,
Yeah,
intentionally, so that we can try and avoid as many of those what if type questions, because as you've experienced, they get in the way of actually getting things going. And I
yeah,
think the other thing which you've probably embraced as well, I know a lot of the other guys do that get kind of quick successes, is that acceptance of making mistakes.
yeah,
That just be comfortable that, what, I'm probably going to screw this thing up right now,
yeah,
but it's okay, right? Because that's where the learning happens. That's where you keep things moving forward. And as long as you don't repeat the same mistakes twice, then you're going to get results at some point.
yeah,
um, and the other thing, I think, just to the automation point, is that, again, we do this intentionally. We want as much manual effort when you're starting, for a reason, because you need to understand, not you, I'm generalizing when I say this, but
yeah,
you need to understand what goes in to getting those results.
yeah,
So if somebody is coming back to you because you sent them an email, how do you actually take that email, engage, and get them converted to a phone call? If everything's
yeah,
fully automated at that point, you can get success, but if you don't know why the success is happening, you can't replicate it or scale it. And it's really important that we understand. I think Matt's just gone there, but I'll continue here. We understand how success happens, and the only way to understand how success happens is to mess things up. I mean, it's
yeah,
pretty simple stuff. So
yeah,
I remember this because obviously I speak to a lot of people that come in, and you joined, and I know, from my perspective, you were quiet. It was kind of almost off the radar, and I think I checked in a couple of times, and Robert as well. And so, oh no, he's testing and all these things. I was like, okay, well, let's see how that pans out. And then all of a sudden you were like, bang, you were here. And then we saw deals coming in and all these good things. And the next thing we know, there's a $1.9 million line of credit closed.
yeah.
So I just wondered if you could kind of share with the good folks watching, how that happened. Because I know it's, real estate deals are not simple. It'd be great if they were, but they're not. And certainly closing that, I know, was, we had to go through a number of hoops, and it finally happened. So if you could talk through that, but then also explain, what is a line of credit? Why is it these things are great for real estate investors, and why they're great for you?
Well, the line of credit is something that you have the potential to make, oh, well, it helps the investor scale their business, for one, because they can access more money and do more jobs or projects. For the broker, it's like a great deal because you have the ability to get paid on that line over and over again. So whenever they pick up another property and they do a deal, then you're going to get paid on that deal. You're doing like the work one time, even though there's multiple conversations and emails, but that person can buy a property 6-7 months from now, and you can still get paid on something that you did 7 months ago. So the income potential is great because it's almost like automated. Once that deal happens, it's like automated. You don't have to reach out to make that deal happen. They're looking for properties all the time, and they're going to make deals. So you're just going to keep getting paid on that line of credit, whenever they make that deal.
Yeah, I mean, what Matt's saying is absolutely right. That they're amazing for residual value, and it's very simple math. That's one that Matt's got, and you fast forward. Imagine when Matt's got 5 of those or 10 of those things closed off. That's the beauty of real estate. You just don't get that with business funding. And then
Yeah.
from the client's perspective, if you're a serial investor, if you're a professional investor, they're a no-brainer. Like they're the easiest things to sell, but not necessarily the easiest things to close. I think that's the other thing. So could you walk through the journey of closing that thing off? Because I know it wasn't a straight line, was it?
No, it wasn't. It took a lot of persistence, and help from my team. First off, Chris, my team leader. Without him helping me out, Sebastian, I'll get to that in a moment. But so that person that got that first credit line that I got, I believe that was in my first week where I was starting to really send out emails, and I think that may have been my third day where I was sending out, when I finally got my system down, my third day. And this guy, he called me. I remember he called me later in the afternoon. And then what ended up happening, because I knew I was targeting a certain area when I saw that area code on my phone come up, I got nervous and I was like, oh, this is only like my third email sequence. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm not even going to answer it because I didn't even know enough, The guy never emailed me, so I didn't know why he was calling or anything. I didn't know, what the deal was. So I remember I didn't answer. He left a voicemail and he wanted to talk. So I was like, well, I can either wait. It's like 5 o'clock here where I'm at, or actually I think it was later. It's like if I call my team leader, Chris, it's already later in the evening for him. He's in the East Coast. I don't know if it's what he's up to, but I'm not going to hassle with him with this. So I was like, I'm just going to call it instead of just waiting until tomorrow, because who knows, these guys, investors, sometimes they're just hard to get a hold of. So I was like, I'm just going to call it and I'm going to see what happens. And I called him and, I didn't know a whole lot, but I know how to talk to people and I know how to, just connect. So I just spoke with him, asked him about his business, what he liked about investing. I just brought up all the other kind of things that I could think of. I asked him for tips, when you're flipping, what, say I want to do this one day, what kind of tips would you give me, and so he just started he was like an open book, really cool. And then, like a few minutes before the call ended, I just said, you know what, I don't want to take up your time. So rather than having us go back and forth with multiple calls, let me get somebody else on the call tomorrow that's a little bit more well-versed in this kind of business. And just in case there's questions, we don't have to like kind of go back and forth. We can just get everything hashed out in one call. And that's what we did. And he was trying to get a property, filled out an application, later, I think the next day. And then the property fell through. But they had already looked at his exits and his history and his cash reserves. And Chris was like, hey, we can get him a credit line. I think Sebastian is the one that came up with that idea. So Chris and I called him again and, things got rolling from there, and Even though he agreed that that's what he wanted to do, he didn't fill out all the paperwork. The process got started, but he didn't fill out the paperwork. And I just kept continuing to check up on him. I would call him, say, "Hey, how's everything going?" "Oh, it's good. I'm real busy." I was like, "Okay, well, I'll call you back another time." And I would just kept emailing him and just checking up on him. And then it got to a point where it was already past a month already. And I had just sent him a message. He responded and he's like, "I'm still looking over this stuff." And then I spoke with Sebastian, and Sebastian said, "Let's just call this guy, you know." So we called him, and Sebastian found out what the holdup was. And he's like, "Well, we can wait on the phone while you fill out the docs. You know, we can do that. We don't mind, you know, going over all the stuff." And that's what happened. So we sat there for over an hour with him. Well, he was filling out paperwork, and it finally, you know, it got done. And then I think just 2 weeks ago, that's when I got the word that it was pretty much a done deal, you know, from there. So it's a great feeling, you know, to be able to help him too, because now he's talking about buying more expensive, you know, doing more expensive projects now. It's going to allow him to scale his business. And for him to get to that point, it would have probably taken him longer. But now that he has this line of credit, he's going to be able to do more. And I'm sure that's going to not only help his business, but help his family too. So that's a great feeling, you know, to be a part of that.
It's really cool. I love the story because you just kind of epitomized how you get success. Like the guy called you, you're a bit nervous, but you thought, you know, I'm going to just get on the call and have a conversation with him. And I think you've just proved the point there as well. And I say this a lot to people: you don't even need to know what real estate is even all about. It's just the
No.
ability to just talk to people.
Yeah.
That's
And
simple, right?
I didn't know
They're human
anything.
beings.
I still don't know a lot, but I just do it, you know.
But that's the thing.
And
If you
every
can engage, they talk to you, right? And as long as you're
yeah,
straightforward and honest with people, that's all people really want. What they don't like is the BS they normally get given. You know,
yeah, for
the
sure.
salesy type approach, which just doesn't work. It's just be you, be a human. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm not, to be honest, and I think that's why I had struggled with internet marketing before, and you know, just closing deals, because I try to be somebody that I wasn't. I'm not a salesman, you know.
All hypey, and all that kind
Yeah,
of
I mean, I think I can sell an idea to somebody. I could sell them on a concept. So I think in a sense we're all salesmen at something. Um, but when it comes to like being like, you know, a car salesman with a pitch or this and that, that's just not me. So I'm better if I'm just, you know, upfront with people and I'm
yeah,
honest
yeah.
and I'm just keeping it real, you know. But
I think that's just the best way to do, man. And like, I think I have this saying, like, if you're selling, you're doing it wrong. There
yeah,
shouldn't be any selling required. I mean, if you think about it, you've got a client there that needed something, and we had access to the thing that they needed. And I think the other thing, the other reason that that came together is another thing that you know that I go on a lot is following up. You know,
yeah,
all you did was keep in contact with that guy, and by doing it, you start to develop a relationship. And okay, we couldn't do the initial deal; it fell through, but that follow up was the key to this thing happening. You know, and then
yeah.
obviously getting him on a call with Sebastian and with Chris as well. In actual fact, could you explain who those guys are to you and how they've helped you get that thing over the line too?
Yeah, so Chris was the one that initially got on the call with me the next day. So after I spoke with him the previous evening, Chris, who's my team lead, he got on the call with me, and we just, you know, spoke with him together. And Chris actually got on a couple calls with you know, the individual and myself. And then Sebastian also, once he agreed to moving forward, Sebastian is the one that kind of was started the process with the line of credit. I know that he's had conversations with him. He followed up with him as well. So it wasn't just me following up with him. It was also you know, Sebastian reaching out, sending him emails, checking it to see if he needed anything. And then I was on the side, just, you know, every week. Hey, just want to make sure that you're being taken care of. If you have any questions, you know, then let me know. And that was pretty much it, and just, I know that he's busy, so I most of the time I just send him a text, and every once in a while would call, but for the most part, most of it was done through text, just send him a message, so, but Sebastian and Chris they filled in the gaps in the areas where I didn't have knowledge or the experience. And I think that's one of the things that's great about, being part of Ion is you have people, you don't have to know it all, because you can lean on the experience of other people, and you have people that can fill in those gaps where you just don't have the experience, or the knowledge. So without those two guys, it just wouldn't have happened, it's just wouldn't have been possible for me to make it work. So
That's really cool. And guys, just if you're watching this, I mean that's I think that's the key, the cherry on the cake of how we can get results. And in your case, actually, so quickly when you're still learning what you need to do is the fact that you've got that experience that can literally just jump in and even take over calls for you,
yeah.
and you still get the biggest slice of the pie. That's what it's about. So talk to us now about, I mean, what's next? I mean, what's going on now? How do you see the future kind of unraveling for you?
Well, I'm continuing to put in the work every day. This week, to be honest, was a little bit slow. I've been consistent, but so I've just been following up with people. But I noticed there's some times where there's like a period of a few days where it just seems there's a lot going on. Applications are coming through, and then there'll be, a time where it slows down a little bit, just to be honest. But you just got to stay consistent, and you have to keep believing in possibilities, that, I'm thinking, 6 months from now, things are going to be in a better place for me financially, to the point really where I'm able to work on the projects that I want to work on when it comes to filmmaking. So my goal, really, my vision in this whole thing really is to buy back my time. That's really what I'm trying to do. There's some people that they want to be, I don't know, they want to move up in Ion, and that's fine. But my goal really is to buy back my time, really, to be able to free my time where I'm having some passive income coming through, where I'm able to help people, but I'm also able to, work on the projects that I want to work on, and not have to rely on investor money for the things that I want to do, but to be able to fund my own vision, my own dreams, and if it's through this channel that it happens, and then it's great, because I'm not having to work all day on it. It's just consistent work every day. Just put in the time and the effort and the work, and just keep trying, and good things will happen, so I'm excited about it. It's been great. And I'm just continuing to look forward to growing, and just to get better, really.
I don't really think I can add anything to that. I think you just said it all. I think I'll just clarify. I mean, the key to success and how that next 6 months will happen for you is just doing exactly what you're doing right now. It's not
Yeah,
getting emotional about, like you just said there. You've been doing the work this week, but perhaps the outcome that you expected hasn't been what you would want. But at the same
yeah,
time, you still every day just done the work, and that's just the way it is, right? Because we're dealing with people, and there's never this sort of straight line. It doesn't. That's not how life works. It kind of ebbs and flows. It goes up and down, and like next, as you say, next week there could be 2 days where you're just absolutely flat out. There's applications all over the place, and then it'll
yeah,
go quiet again. But the trick to
yeah,
all of it is relentless consistency. That's all I say. It's if you do the work every day, the rest of it happens by default.
yeah.
That's just the way it
And what
goes.
you're doing every day is you're planting seeds. That's
Yeah,
what you're doing.
absolutely right. Yeah,
And seeds, they don't grow into anything overnight. They're in the dirt. They're in a dark place sometimes for a little while, and then they spring up into something that you can see. So that's what I try to remind myself when I don't see any results. Day or two, I'm planting seeds, and the reality is a lot of times people don't respond to the first email. Um, there are times that happens, but they're responding by like the third or the fourth email. You know, I find that a lot. So
Yeah.
if you're not even doing like your follow-up emails, you're not even doing that, then you're not going to be successful for one. If you're just sending out one email, then you're going to have limited success, you know.
Yeah.
But the more seeds you plant, and the more effort that you put into that, then you're going to get something back eventually. But you got to plant those seeds every day, and not just through an email, through a follow-up text, through an email, through a phone call. But to expect to have success and never plant any seeds is just, it's insane. It's just, nothing's ever going to happen like that, you know. So I'm planting seeds for my future. That's what I'm doing, you know. And I want to buy my time to be able to do the things that I want to do, and this is how I'm doing it right now, you know.
That's brilliant. Matt, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Sure.
Talking to you, some good insight there. Hopefully you guys found it helpful as well. If you have any questions or anything, please comment below the video. And if you want to schedule a call with us, you'll find a link in the description too. Thank you very much, Matt.
Thank you. Great talking to you, Gavin.
Yeah, you too.